Quick disclaimer up front on today's video, as you will have heard bits of in yesterday's video, my next door neighbours have decided to have their bathroom replaced. My garage wall, just there, backs onto their bathroom, just the other side of it. It's been lots of banging, drilling and grinding coming from their house all morning. It's been quiet for a few minutes. If it gets super loud again, I'll pause the video and try and work around it, but there is a fairly good chance of some background noise throughout today's video. That's your warning, especially if you're a headphone user. Hello and welcome to part 155 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're away against Manchester City in the Premier League and then also away against Hoffenheim in the first leg of the Champions League first knockout round. Since you were last with me, there's been fairly good league form. We're still unbeaten for quite a long time in the league, actually. The last time we lost a league match was way back in October when we lost to West Ham, who at the time were top of the league. Manchester City, who we played today, also top of the league. We have been knocked out of the FA Cup by Manchester United, though. This is what the Premier League table looks like currently, so we are just about clinging on to fourth place. Our title rivals from last year, Wolves, trying to fight us for that very position, but it is looking like a more normal looking Premier League table at the moment, with possibly the exception of West Ham. Man City and West Ham very much fighting for the title. Liverpool well ahead of kind of the chasing pack, which is pretty much us and Wolves. You've got the likes of Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United, who are a little bit further behind. They're really looking for Europa League spots. We're trying to get back into the Champions League again for another year, and at the moment it's looking okay. If we beat Manchester City right now, it'll look even more okay. But before that, we have got some transfer news. We obviously talked about it on yesterday's video. Liam Thompson did go to Manchester United for £61 million. He has already played against us twice. But in the end, I decided not to sign Alves, the guy who we had scouted a gazillion times before and had wanted for so very long. We signed Ricardo instead, and I actually sat and, I don't really do these attribute things very often, but I actually sat and did a proper comparison of the two of them, based on their scout reports, based on what we knew about them. Now, remember, they're roughly the same age, 25 and 26. Ricardo was going to cost 21 million. Alves was going to be 74 million, a record signing. Yes, Alves is better. Obviously, he just edges Ricardo for defending, for physical, for attacking, but Ricardo better for mental and technical. Nothing between them on aerial, speed, vision. There was basically nothing between these two players. On a further scout report, Alves had his scout recommendation knocked down to an 89 rather than a 99, now only showing as a 4-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability player, whereas Ricardo, who we ended up bringing in from Manchester City, 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. He's still a leading player. He's still better than Thompson, so we've still upgraded in midfield. But we've done it by signing a player who Manchester City spent an absolute fortune on from Schalke, played fairly regularly for a couple of years, and then he fell out of favour. He was on the transfer list, and we basically picked him up for half price. So, to me, that seems like a much more sensible piece of business. I know, who is this person making this video? This clearly isn't Kev. We ended a transfer window with £68 million to spend. That's more than we started the season with. Our transfers for this year, it's the closest we've been since we've been in the Premier League to a net transfer profit. We've only actually spent £22 million net this season. And if we hadn't started collecting teenagers, then we would have broken even. So, yeah, it's a mad world that we're living in. Hopefully I don't live to regret it. But the fact that no one else in Europe is chasing Alves does make me question him a little bit, which is why I'm not disappointed with the signing that we've made, bringing in Ricardo. So this is the team we're putting out there to take on Manchester City. Remember, this is a top-of-the-table Manchester City. This is a game we're supposed to lose, but hopefully we don't lose it too badly. We've got Saidi in goal, a back four of Candamil, Dianzi, Lee and Mayer, with Ricardo at the base of the midfield, Jimenez and Yamin ahead of him, Manu behind Akamo and Kano up front. Let's get into the game. This is about as... I think this is full strength looking at that team. I'm trying to think who would I put in there to make it stronger. I don't think we've got anybody. I think that is our full strength team. It does highlight that perhaps in the summer, if we get to keep our 68 million we've already got and maybe get handed another 40 million on top, which I know isn't how Football Manager works. People tried to argue with me last time I said this, but they'll just give us 68 million pounds as our transfer budget next season. Guaranteed they're not going to increase it. We've got 68 million sat there. That'll be next year's budget. So if I spent it all now, that would equate to getting zero budget next season. That wouldn't have happened. We'd have still got 30 or 40. So I am going to try and spend the bulk of my 68 million before the season ends to set signings up for the summer so that we then at least get some more transfer budget as well. But looking at that as a full strength team, I think it highlights we probably need a world-class attacking midfielder to take the step up to the next level, and probably another top-quality central midfielder. Jimenez, as much as I like him, is probably only ever supposed to be a backup at both central midfield and defensive midfield. So I think we probably need to upgrade a couple of our midfielders this summer, and we will be making moves to try and get at least one of those lined up before the season ends, and then see what kind of budget we get for the summer to see if we can get the second one. City ahead 1-0 after 15 minutes. It was a soft penalty to give away, and then they scored it. I mean, there's nothing really to write home about that. It was a penalty. Rubbish. The more worrying thing is the fact we're struggling to get the ball. We've only had one shot and we missed. So, I mean, even against Manchester United in the game we drew in the Premier League, I think we had 32 shots in that game. We just weren't hitting the target. But Manchester City, clearly so good that they've managed to restrict us to one shot in the whole of the first half, and we missed it. This is not how we're used to playing a football match. City have been absolutely ruined us there. I do expect a better showing in the second half. I know City are traditionally a good side, but I do remember last season when I don't think they even got in the Champions League. So they can't be. I mean, I guess they did go out and spend loads. So they're in that position where, we've had a bad season, let's spend £300 million. But still, they shouldn't be this much better than us when we won the league last year. What can we do to change things up? Who's not playing well? Right, the midfield isn't really performing. I mean, no one's playing well is the answer to that, really. We could bring on any one of these for any one of these, and I think it probably has as good a chance as any of improving what's going on out there. Let's get Bishop on, make him the playmaker, see if we can get one of his special balls over the top, and plus it gets Yamin a little bit further forward. Akamo's not playing well, so we can get Rodriguez on for him. You can see Mercier's on the bench, the French teenage striker that we signed for £10 million. I think I've decided he's my fourth choice striker. Dragovic is just about done. We've actually accepted an offer from Blackburn, I think it was, for £15 million to bring Dragovic in the summer. I'm not sure if that deal was finalised yet, but as far as I'm concerned, he's gone, even if he hasn't actually officially gone, and Mercier's the one that we're going to push on with, because we need to get games into him. If he's going to be one of our homegrown players going forward, we want him to be good. So let's get games into him. Let's train him up. Let's make him good, so that we not only have a homegrown striker, he's a good homegrown striker. Who, like, the only other player we've got who can try. I'm talking about Mercier. I'm not going to bring him on. We'll bring Chernyshov on for the last 10 minutes, and we'll have 10 minutes of passion to finish things off. I mean, a 1-0 defeat against Manchester City isn't a bad result. The worrying thing is those stats. The fact we've only had one shot on target in the entire game. It just feels a lot like they could have beaten us a lot worse than they have. They just haven't ever had to get out of second gear. And as it says at the bottom, Holme's fine run is coming to an end now. To be fair, the two defeats that bookend this run of undefeated football that's lasted 4 months have both been away from home against the team who were top of the league. So it's not like we need to worry about our league form. We are still holding on to that 4th place spot, which if we finish 4th, I'm going to be happy. That's job done if we finish 4th. But that's a worry. It makes me feel like we're an awful long way away from being at Man City's level, which is baffling. Utterly baffling when we won the league last year. But then we said at the time, I've ruined that team talk, we said at the time that there wouldn't ever be an opportunity to win the league with so few points as we did last year. If we just have a look at the league table just to illustrate that point. So last year we won the league with 78 points. Manchester City are already on 68 points with 10 games to go. So it's not that we were much better than everyone else last year. I mean, we were better than everyone else. Obviously, we won the league. But it was more because all the big teams had off seasons. We didn't grab the league by the scruff of the neck and win it because we were the best team ever. We just took advantage of a situation that probably isn't going to happen again anytime soon. Because I think both City and West Ham this season are going to go well past 78 points. I mean, we're probably on target to still get there or thereabouts points-wise. But that might be enough for third this year. Let's go play Hoffenheim. Just the one change for the Hoffenheim game then. We've brought Chernyshov in for Manu just to see if he offers some kind of different creative spark to what we got out of Manu in the last match. We had to change something in the attack, having not created anything in the entirety of the Man City game. And with Kano and Akamo on over 30 goals between them, then obviously Manu's the one that has to give. I expect nothing but a win to cut our recent... I mean, we've just lost our first game in ages, but apparently that's been a run of bad results. I guess there was a few draws sprinkled in there. We've probably... I can't remember. I think we've won maybe 2 of our last 6 or 7 games. So I guess that isn't the best run of results, but there's been a lot of draws in there. It's not like we've been losing loads of games, and we've had some tough games in that run as well. Kandemil now plays it to Yamin. I thought this was our little kick-off highlight, but it's actually a little bit further into the game. Kandemil with the big cross to Akamo, and Akamo heads just wide. That would have been lovely to go 1-0 up that early in the game. That would have been a bit of a confidence booster. Ricardo now across to Yamin and Jimenez. Chernyshov just wide from him as well. At least we're getting shots in, but they don't seem as accurate as they could. But Chernyshov looking lively. Hopefully the 2 fullbacks will have a little bit more freedom in this game compared to the Man City game, where they were pinned back a lot by very good attacking players at Man City. Yamin now to Lee. Lee has just scored a screamer from the edge of the area. I think that's his first ever goal for the club. It's certainly his first of the season. I guess he must have got one last year. But you don't expect your centre-half to score a goal like this. Ends up falling to Lee. Doesn't even take a touch. Just first time. Top far corner. What a goal from Lee. That was mad. And it's an away goal, which is huge, obviously, with this being a Champions League knockout round game. Remember, the board this season, we're just looking for a mid-table Premier League finish and the group stages of the Champions League. So those of you who are speculating an episode or 2 back that I might get sacked this season, that ain't happening. This Champions League run is already beyond what the board were hoping for, and we're doing better in the league than they were looking for as well. Hoffenheim have just got an equaliser, but nah. Even if we get knocked out here, we're not going to get knocked out here. We're a better team than Hoffenheim, and we've got an away goal, which is important. As long as we don't lose like 4-1, even if we go back to our place, or Milton Keynes' place, 2-1 down with an away goal, I'm going to feel reasonably confident in that situation. But hopefully we've got enough about us. It's been an even game so far. Hopefully we've got enough about us to win this first leg, which would be awesome. Mayer now free on the right-hand side. Cross comes over looking for a Akamo, but the goalkeeper comes out to claim it off of his head. And now Hoffenheim trying to break through again. Saidi looked really out of position there, and that's poor. That's 2 goals in a minute Hoffenheim have just scored there. And I try not to blame Saidi very often because I spent £53 million on him, but his positioning here just looks awful. I don't really know what he's doing. He initially goes to... I mean, I did a little bit of learning to be a goalkeeper when I was a kid until I realised I didn't like to fall on the left-hand side of my body. That's a story for another day. I know you don't hesitate, you don't come for it and then drop back because you end up out of position. If you're going to he's a sweeper keeper. If he's coming out to sweep there, he needs to come all the way and commit to it. If he's not planning on going all the way and committing to it, he should be narrowing down his angles, getting his positioning right, not just floating about in no man's land. That was poor. Right, let's get aggressive. Show me something different in the second half. We can't be losing this game. The wheels are falling off our season. Kandemil, no. Just, that was a kick-off highlight. Sometimes I just forget. Sometimes I think normal highlights, kickoff highlights. Sometimes the other way around. We need our attackers to sort their lives out. Our only goal in the episode so far is a complete nonsense of a screamer from a centre-back. Our attacking players have done nothing all episode long. Jimenez has been poor. Do I want to bring Dean Morris on? Not really. We'll bring Bishop on. I think Bishop's got more attacking use to him than Dean Morris has. Not that Bishop made any difference at all against Manchester City. Kano's been really poor as well. So Rodriguez can come on for Kano. And we tried we tried Kano on Rodriguez in the last game. Now we try Akamo on Rodriguez to see if that combination works. Dianzi looks for the ball over the top, doesn't quite get there. Falls to Mayer though. Why he's in the attacking midfield position, nobody knows. But he set Rodriguez up, and I thought we'd won a penalty off the back of it. I love the fact that Mayer's basically an extra midfielder. Chernyshov now with the corner. No green shirts in there. Falls to... I thought Dianzi was going to do a screamer himself. Imagine if both our centre-backs scored long-range screamers. Why are they both hovering outside the penalty area for corners? I think it's time to tweak the corner instructions again. Mayer, in space. Can we have a Mayer special? We can't. It goes over. He hasn't scored a goal for a while, actually. Ever since I said he's on for double figures this season, I don't think he's scored, which is a little bit of a worry because he was a good source of goals. Ricardo's not having a good game. Morris can come on for... Morris can come on for Ricardo, and let's have our 10 minutes of passion. I did say 2-1 defeat's not a disaster. We can turn this around in the second leg, but I did think we were a better team than going to Hoffenheim and losing. I feel like the game is maybe throwing another poor run of form at us. We had our nice run of form. Now we're going to have a poor run of form, like the poor run of form we had just before the nice run of form. Football Manager's brilliant. Right, when are we back? We're back for the second leg. We'll do second leg and Chelsea. We've got 4 Premier League games to sort this form out. I mean, it's actually worse than I thought. That's 1 win in 7 games now. And we've lost our last 3 games in all competitions. Right, we need some wins in these 4. And then we'll be back for Hoffenheim and Chelsea tomorrow. Obviously, bathroom noises permitting. If you didn't hear the first part of the episode. That was a weird way to end it. If you have enjoyed that, though, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.